everybody, this is Allie Edwards, and in today's video I wanted to show you how I am tackling or how I've dove into my Week in the Life project. And as you'll see here, I've done a few things. This is kind of my starting place. Week in the Life is a project that often takes quite a while to complete in terms of the production of actually getting your content into the album. Obviously that depends on what sort of structure you take, how many pictures you have, those sorts of things. So I've been working on my intro page, my reason why page, which is how I like to start my albums. And then I've also been working mainly on Monday, as well as doing a few other things that I'm going to show you in here. So today's video is basically just going to be an overview of what I have done, and this can give you some ideas for ways that you might want to work in your own album. And then I'll be back with another video, probably in a week or so, that is showing like a completed Monday. And in this video here, I'm gonna talk a little bit about what my ideas are for how I'm moving forward in this album. It's also summertime. Normally I do this project in May, and doing it in June, doing the documenting part in June, I'm bumping up to a little bit, or late June even, of some of the summer activities here. So it's taking me a little bit longer to get my pages complete, which I'm totally fine with. And I want to encourage everybody, you know, that you don't have to have it finished the next day, right? All right, let's see what I've done so far. So I started mine off with a large full page photo. This is the outside of the page protector size, which I think is like 11 by 8.25. I'm using some large chipboard. It's kind of like a raw chipboard alphabet here to do Edwards and McKercher, which is our two last names. And then I stamped with a rolling date stamp all the different dates on top. So I did like I started with the 20th, which was the Monday we started, and went all the way to the 26th. So I just repeat stamped all over, and you'll see that this is something that I'm doing in another place in the album, so I liked linking that. With the raw chipboard, you can always paint that. You could stencil something on top of it. I don't mind the raw chipboard look, so I liked using that. I also added on the quote that I used in my Monday journaling, which is a Dave Matthews quote that says, "Celebrate we will, because life is short but sweet for certain," and that definitely felt like an overarching theme for my week. I also have the wood veneer Week in the Life piece there. That's just adhered on with some rolling adhesive. That was from the main kit. And then on the back side here, what I did for my reason why this time is I had a large photo of roses from my yard. And what I decided to do with this one is I did a couple different things. The first thing that I did is I cut a page protector, a pocket. This is a 3x4 pocket. This right here was on top of a 3x4 journal card in the main kit, and I just cut out around the outside. I used an X-Acto knife to do that, X-Actoing around all the outside edges there. And then the other thing that I did is I took I printed out my journaling, and I left a little bit of space, and I used this wood veneer stamp set to stamp the reason why. And then from the mini kit, there was some hand-drawn plastic words. I just stapled the word story on top. And then along the top edge, I added an Avery Index tab using a stamp from the Right Story kit that says things that matter to me. And my reason why, I'll read you what I wrote on here. I said, for Week in the Life 2022, my reason why is to simply capture the season of our lives. It's a unique season when I know that both Simon and Isaac will be moving out in the fall and not likely to be here for next year's project. It's also a unique season with the addition of Betty to our household. This is our first full week with her. She's our new dog. I want to pay attention. I want to celebrate the little things. I want to savor our house full of kids and friends of kids during this first week of summer vacation. I want to savor the early mornings with Betty as our lives transition to accommodate her presence. I want to see our life as it is and tell that story, whatever may come up over the course of the week. Bring on the stories of the season. So sometimes when I'm doing this project, I do the reason why in advance. This time I wrote it after the fact, and it still encapsulated lots of the things that I was thinking before I started on the project. I adhered this plastic piece. Again, this is just cut from a page protector. I cut it out, leaving the seams intact there. And then I used a red line tape to adhere that onto the photo. I love this idea of being able to do a full page photo and then still have a journaling card or some sort of embellishment on top. All right, next up we come into the actual first day of the week here. This is Monday. What I've decided to do is on top of the stitched heart, which I had added in my, when I originally kind of put together a few things. What I've decided to do is for each day of the week, I am adding the chipboard pieces. So there was the chipboard die in the main kit had circles with the outer circles as well. So I've gone through now and added on that to each one of the days, and we'll do a flip through here in a minute, but I just kind of want to show you a little bit more about Monday. So that's going to be repeated with a full circle and then the outline circle on each one of those stitched hearts. And then on the back, what I decided to do, at the back of that heart, again, this is on the transparency there, on the back of, there were hearts, blank gold outlined hearts in the main kit. So for each day, I took the rolling date stamp again. This is just one that I use off of Amazon. Stamped all over it, did the repeat stamping to create a pattern, and I added the correct date, so June 20th. And then from the main kit, we've got these fun plastic labels, and I stapled that on top and then adhered it onto the back of the heart. So you're gonna see that same thing. I follow that same formula for each of the intro pages to the day of the week. So here's the chipboard on the outside, and then when you turn the page over, we've got the die cut or the paper heart there with the gold on the outside, and then June 21st with another one of these. So that's a formula that I created for this project. With a project that's really photo and word heavy like this, that's something that I like to do, is have a few things that are repeated throughout the album. It creates nice cohesion as you move from one day to the next. And now what you're gonna see next is I've printed out all my photos for Monday, and so what I'm starting to do now is add on embellishments. And in addition to the things in the kit, what I've been doing is looking at some of the recent products I have here in my stash and pulling some of those out that make sense to support the stories and the different lovely things that have been happening around here. So this was from, I think, the Senses kit, the heart eyes, and then I have out all my word phrase stickers because these are something that I often like to add into this project. So I've got quite a collection here that I've collected from lots of different projects, and then I store them all together, which makes it really easy to grab when I want to flip through. So like this one says this moment, and I think that one was from the Unexpected story kit. So this is all I'm going to add onto this particular page. So when you turn the page here, what you're going to see next is I have a full page collage of photos. These are 2 inches by 4 inches. I did this in Photoshop. I simply cropped each image to 2 by 4, placed it onto a 10 by 8 canvas, and then I added on one of the wood veneer pieces. In addition there, I used this stamp set, which was one we offered with this project, and stays on, and I stamped around on top of the wood veneer. I liked adding just a little bit of something on there. Next here, you can see that what I've decided to do for my journaling is when I'm doing Week in the Life, I actually write down at the end of the day, I collect all my journaling and I add it into a blog post. So when it comes to this part of the process, I'm able to simply copy and paste. This year, I decided to do it on a 6 by 8, and I made columns, and I left space here for the pleather days of the week that are included in the main kit there too. So I've got these guys. I haven't got to this one yet, but establishing my Monday is really my first thing that I do when I'm working on this project, and it's going to help me then as I move into the other days of the week. So this is again on 6 by 8. It's got a front and a back. Monday for me has the most journaling as well as the most number of photos. So I need to figure out how to deal with Monday before I can start dealing with the other one. So this is a 2-page. It actually is continued over onto this one, and we'll talk about that in a minute. My plan right now is I'll probably put an Avery index tab along the outside edge. Then for each day of the week, I collected using an app called, I think it's called Today's Front Page. There's an app where you can collect front pages, and so I picked the New York Times, which is the magazine or the newspaper that I read. This is available as a digital template as a 3 by 8 size. On the actual template, there's other things that you could add on there. I just wanted the top part, so I used the top part, and then I placed this image that I had saved during the week. I think these ones you can only do, in this particular app, I think you have to download it on the day that it happens, so it doesn't have an archive, but there might be another service that you can use that has an archive where if you didn't collect these during the week, you could add them in. The other thing that I did here on each of these is I stamped the date using the wood block stamps. Those are a fun set that we offered recently. So that is on there, and then you'll see that on each of the following days. So on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we'll flip through that in a minute. So that's what's gonna happen in a 3x8. So one of the things also that you can see is I'm adding in additional page protectors that didn't come in the album, but I had in my stash. So the album itself, this 10x8 album, comes with the 10x8 sized page protectors. But one thing that's cool here is with these these 6-ring albums that we have, you can use our other page protectors in there as well. So journaling comes down here, and then it continues, and I decided to continue it onto a photo. So that was an opportunity for me to get another photo into the project, and then my journaling continues on there. On the back side of the 3x8, I added in one of my photos. I also started looking through my stash to see what sorts of things could I add, because what I like to do in this project, once I've got my words and photos in here, for lots of people, you could stop there. You don't have to do the embellishing part unless you want to. I like to add the embellishment. So I'm doing things like looking through my stash of products and the other things that I have here on my desk. So maybe it's, you know, fabric circles from past kits. It might be chipboard pieces. Those are the kinds of things that I'm looking at. It's a great opportunity to use some of the things from your stash to support the stories, to bring in that little bit of crafty fun into it as well. So I actually put that one on the outside of the page protector. One thing that you'll notice in this album that's a little bit different from what I've been doing lately, a lot of the projects that I have been putting together and other bigger projects that I do, like December Daily, I work a lot outside of the page protector. But this year for Week in the Life, I decided to do most of it inside of the page protector. So that's a little bit of something different. I'll probably put an Avery index tab or a tab, like a paper tab along the outside edge. Same with on this one. Any of these insert pages, I like to add something like that along the edge. And the Avery index tab, in case you don't know, looks like this, right? It's just a little plastic office supply tab that you can then stamp on the piece of paper that goes on the inside. So that is something that I have long loved to use. Okay, so back into Monday. We've talked about the journaling. So the journaling for this one, I'm setting this up in Illustrator. I like to have columns, and so Illustrator lets me have columns. You can do columns in Photoshop. It's a little bit more complicated. You could also do columns in Word, right? You could set it up in Word, make this little spot, measure it out, make it an image, and then you can flow the text around there too. So that's where all my journaling is. And then it's just really more photos. So I ended up adding in another 6x8 photo that's on the back of the end of the journaling. This is one of my parents. Then you come into this page where I have the one word for today, and I stamped the word complete using the wood stamp set, the wood block stamp set. I've got a photo of myself in here using the chipboard frame that I think is really fun from the mini kit. We've got the photo of Betty there, and then Monday, Facts and Feelings, where I hand wrote a few things. I did this at the end of the project. I didn't do it at the beginning. So this is, I'm writing things down as I'm reflecting back on this. And again, I will be adding more embellished, like this is probably gonna get a chipboard circle. I pulled out the June Stories by the Month, so if you're a Stories by the Month subscriber, if maybe you have been in the past, this is also a fun time to incorporate some of the things that relate to the specific month, products that are month-based. So there's like June Loves, right? This could go right on here. So I'm thinking about adding in some of those to this project also. That kind of thing, and or the word phrase stickers. I also have the other pieces from the kit here, so I've got like the other products that we offered this year, so like the vellum hearts. There are vellum hearts in the mini kit. I have all those out here, so kind of thinking about different ways that I can add those on there. This is one of the ways that I like to work in this project too. So once I get all of the photos printed, and then I'm going to come back in and add additional embellishments on top, I like to have them out on my table, because then I can kind of see what am I picking from, what are my options for adding into this project. I like to to limit that usually so that it's not like, you know, anything goes. So that's why I've picked out even a couple of my plastic bins with some of the chipboard to see which ones might I want to add in here. So that'll probably get some sort of an embellishment on it. Then on the back here, here's another thing I wanted to share with you guys. So one of the 4x6 cards in the main kit has these little blocks. And so what I decided to do was print out 1.75 square inch photos. And I picked ones that were some of the random stuff things. Remember, you might have heard me talk about this is one of the things I wanted to do. So a picture of packages, a picture of my Birks that I wear outside when I walk Betty in the backyard, a podcast that I listen to, my pen, the water that I'm drinking now. And then I also, again, used this stamp set to stamp that right on top. So I really like how that turned out. I'm gonna repeat that in the following days. Then I've got a 4x4 photo, I've got a 4x6 photo. On these two 4x6 photos, I did do a white border on the outside, just a little bit something, just a little something fun. So this was a work photo. And then because I had so many photos for my Monday, I am adding in another page. And I just picked one of these 6x8 page protectors that has the 3x4 pocket so that I could print 8 more 3x4 photos. So that's what's on there. Again, I'll add a few embellishments onto that, probably add an Avery index tab to the outside. I like showing you guys where I'm at this point in the process without adding the other things in, just because it's a nice way to see what does it look like without the embellishments, and then you can pick and choose what things you might want to add in. The last page in my Monday is the pockets with the 10x4 spaces available in them. So I did one long 10x4 of Erin in the kitchen there. What I decided to do on this one is rather than writing journaling in there, I'm just keeping the, the majority of my journaling is back here on the typed part. I might do this same thing for every day, but I'm not sure because as I have fewer photos, if I have fewer photos, I might have fewer things to put there, and so I might do some journaling. But I liked looking through my pictures and picking out a morning one, an afternoon one, and an evening one, paired with the big Monday, and I might add some an embellishment on there, even something like a heart. I don't know yet. These are things I haven't got to that part yet. Like, it takes long enough just to get all my photos printed out. And then on the back here is another thing that you can see. So I did another version of a collage, right? A photo collage. Again, these are 2 inches by 4 inches tall. Just paired them all together on a canvas in Photoshop that is 10 inches wide by 4 inches tall. So this allowed me to get in a bunch more photos of people around the house, which I really liked adding in. And then I picked one other photo to do an enlargement here of my parents coming up to the house. I really liked that, and the, that just had some feeling there for me with this particular photo. So this one is a good example too. So this one I actually took out the window, one of the windows of my house. Almost all the photos that I took this time for this project were vertical. So what I'm doing with a photo like this is I'm just doing a really horizontal crop on that photo, printing it out on photo paper, and then adding it into my album. So that's a look at where I'm at on Monday. Again, I'm going to be adding embellishments. I'll probably do some more stamping. Those are things that are coming. But I wanted to show you what Tuesday looks like and what the other things that I have in my album right now, so you could get a sense of how I'm working through this process. So I'm doing some things, I'm batch processing some pieces, some of the stamping, those things, getting this part set up, and then I'm going in each individual day and finishing it off. So there's the Tuesday, there's the back of the Tuesday, here's the in the news for Tuesday, and then I haven't printed out any of my photos yet, so this is what you're gonna see, just the basic layout. Okay, I've got the Wednesday with the chipboard pieces added on there. I'm not using these as a pocket. It is a pocket, so you could easily slip something inside there. I just didn't have something here that made sense, and I wanted to use those chipboard pieces to create that cohesion in the album. So again, the actual date is stamped on there with the remember this on top. Here's my in the news. Moving on to Thursday, same thing, right? It's following the same formula. In this album, I generally tend to be really formulaic in how I approach it, which helps me get the project done. And it creates these things that create consistency within the album itself. So we've got this guy, we've got the 23rd stamped on there. Just waiting for my photos, just waiting for my photos. Here's Friday, we've got the in the news, we've got the stamped heart on the back. This stuff, this one I printed out. I don't think it's gonna stay in here, but I just printed it and wanted to have it sit in a spot there. Okay, so then we've got Saturday there. Again, this is completed. Then in the news. Then we go into Sunday. So essentially, again, I just wanted you guys to get a sense of where I'm at in this project. I am working on this in addition to the other work responsibilities that I have, trying to fit that in. And so, as well as summer and all of the other things, but love working on this project, love diving into it, and love giving myself a little bit of space and time to finish it up too. I definitely felt like when I went back in and started printing out my photos, a week after I did the documenting, I love giving a little bit of distance to that, because when I come back in and I look at all of the things that I captured, I see different stories come up to the surface, even in terms of the way that I took pictures this time. The pictures that I took, I feel like they are maybe less creative. They're more snapshots. They're more just, what did I see? That's really, I guess, and you know, whenever I'm taking pictures, it is what I see, but sometimes I have more of an intent to take, you know, creative ones or something like that. And this time really I felt more like I was just marking the points in time as I look through the lens of my camera. And so those are some of the things that come up for me as I look back at the photos that I've taken, and I start to kind of see additional stories that come up in addition to what I actually documented for that specific day. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments below, and I will carry on with this project.